must use historical comparison, observation to study sociology. So he was of the belief that it was indeed a science. When we say science, what exactly do we mean? Science uses systematic methods of empirical investigation, the analysis of data, theoretical thinking, and logical assessment of arguments to develop a body of knowledge. Sociologists do that. In sociology, the core issue that we focus on is the human social life. And if you remember what Emil Durkheim told us, he said, there are a lot of things around us that are external to us, but they exert considerable influence on our behavior. He called all such things social facts. So anything that has an influence, anything that influences your behavior, but is outside you, is a social fact. And actually, Emil Durkheim told us to study social facts if you want to study sociology. Those of us who are Christians, for the past 3 days, our behaviors have changed because of a social fact. And that social fact is religion. So religion has even changed the way we dress, the way we go to church, the food we eat, etc. It is a social fact. So social facts include institutions, the norms, laws, values, beliefs, and everything outside us, but influences our behavior. Whether sociology is a science or not, as I said earlier, has been a topical issue. Some believe it is a science, but others also think that it is not a science. So sociologists like Auguste Comte, Emil Durkheim, Max Weber, Karl Marx, they think that sociology is a science. And they are of the positivist school of thought. So to them, the discipline is a science. So we refer to them as the positivists. You remember, Auguste Comte used the word positivist. So they are of the positivist school of thought. There are others too who think that no. Sociology cannot be a science. Why? To them, the main object of our study is the individual, the human being. And humans, we change our behavior based on the circumstances or context we find ourselves in. And so to them, sociologists cannot claim to be scientists. In other words, our discipline cannot be a scientific discipline. They rather qualify it by saying our discipline is a social science. Why? Because the human being changes his behavior based on the circumstances and environment. For instance, can I mention a name? Let me see if I can get a name here and mention. Last week I mentioned names. I am forgetting the names that I mentioned. Okay, for instance, I've got it down. Alligator changes her behavior based on where she finds herself in. Barbara will change her behavior based on where she finds herself. Clara will do the same. Clara can wear a bikini, but she can only wear it in her home for her husband or partner, or maybe at the poolside or the beach. In other situations, even when her pastor at the beach or poolside, when her pastor is passing by, Clara will not mind, because that is the beach. But when she's wearing something skimpy in church or at the office or outside, and the pastor is passing by, she'll be pulling her dress up or skirt down. Why? She doesn't want pastors to see any revealing part of her. So you see, the human being is not the type that you can predict our behavior. Our behavior changes based on the circumstances or the situations that will confront us. For that reason, another school of thought that we call the humanist school of thought believe that sociology cannot be a science and that it is rather a social science. Some of those who think that sociology is not a science but a social science or the humanist school of thought include Adorno, Louis Corsa, Peter Wench. They are all part of the humanist school of thought. What at all is science? What at all is science? Science is a method of study whereby a body of organized, verified knowledge is discovered. A body of organized, verified knowledge is discovered. So science leads to discovery. Now, sociology too, and now we are looking at the positivist school of thought. Sociologists believe that, yes, it is a science to the extent that it develops a body of organized, verifiable knowledge, which is based on scientific investigation. For that reason, sociologists do away with wishful thinking and then folklore or myth. Those are things that we study, but they are not scientific in nature. For that reason, we do not talk about things like visions or dreams, because those things cannot be verified. Therefore, they are not scientific. That is why sociology do not engage in visions and dreams. But if science is indeed a body of knowledge, then indeed sociology is a science. That is the argument. Why? Because we use the scientific method to discover knowledge. That is why sociology is a science. What is the scientific method? I believe most of us have done it. So remember it. The scientific method includes identifying a problem, reviewing related literature, you formulate a research question or hypothesis, you select a suitable research design. Of course, you carry out your research, that's the methodology. Then you report on the findings of your research. These are the scientific methods. And in sociology, we use these scientific methods of inquiries. For that reason, the positivists can boldly put their hands on their chest and say sociology is a science. That aside, sociology uses concepts, classify things as well. And for that reason, it solidifies our argument that sociology is a science. Now, let's look at this example. All sciences seek to discover laws or theories. All the sciences seek to discover laws or theories. That's what the sciences do. All sciences seek to discover laws or theories. Does sociology do the same? Yes, sociology does the same thing. For instance, this saying, all power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. This is a law that has been tested And now it is a theory. And it is through sociological findings that all these things came up. Now, this theory that the longer a female spends in school, the fewer number of children she's likely to produce, all things being equal. It's a theory. And this theory came out because of sociological findings. We know that if a young lady spends a longer time in school, she's likely to have fewer children than someone who drops out or ended her education maybe at the SHS level. If you decide to go to school, SHS, you are done. Immediately you come to the university. Immediately you read your master's. Immediately you read your PhD. By the time you finish everything, you are 34 or max minimum 32. Then now you get married. You are likely to have 2 children. There's someone who after SHS got married. So the longer a female spends in school, the fewer the number of children she's likely to have, all things being equal. Of course, there are some exceptions. That's why we say all things being equal. This tells you that sociology is indeed a science because we are able to discover laws which govern social life. What are the characteristics of sociology that makes it a science? Let's look at it carefully. Sociology is a social science and not a natural science. That is what the humanists are saying. Sociologists also believe that it is categorical and not a normative discipline. Now we are looking at the humanist argument. It is categorical and not a normative discipline. Therefore, it confines itself to statements about what is and not what should be. What is and not what should be. So we look at what actually pertains and not the ideal situation. Now, the positivists will also tell you that sociology is a pure science and not an applied science. Why? Applied science will try to solve issues. Applied science or applied disciplines solve everyday issues. Sociologists discover theories, they discover things, but it is not a discipline that solves issues. Other disciplines will take our discovery and then use it to solve disciplines, use it to solve problems. So sociology is a pure science and not an applied science. Another thing is that sociology is a relatively abstract science and not a concrete one. It's an abstract science and not a concrete one. In other words, it is not unduly difficult. Let me say it like that. It is not unduly difficult. Another thing that makes sociology a science, so we are looking at the characteristics that make sociology a science. One is the fact that it's a social science and not a natural science. Two, that sociology is a generalizing and not particularizing or individualizing science. What does that mean? It means that sociology generalizes laws or principles about human interaction and associations, and not, unlike maybe psychology or other things, focus on specific individuals. No. The third one is that sociology is both a rational and empirical science. Its uses, it is objective, it is neutral. We are neutral in our work. So in investigating any phenomena, we do it as scientists. We are rational in what we do. Some also are also saying sociology is not a science. Why do they claim that? And that is a humanist school of thought. As I said earlier on, they argue that sociology cannot apply the method of the natural sciences. Why? Because human beings are largely unpredictable. We are largely unpredictable. And because we are unpredictable, definitely we cannot claim to be science like the chemistry. Chemistry, two molecules of hydrogen and a molecule of oxygen, wherever you are, whether you are in Accra or Tamale or Wow or Florida, it will turn into water. But with sociology, our objects of study, human beings, are unpredictable. And so we cannot claim to be science. That is what the humanists say. Now, what are some of their reasons? Their major reason is that humans have a conscious mind. And because we have a conscious mind, we cannot be subjected to rigorous scientific experimentation. How? I give an example. If you know that you're a glutton and you eat rough, when you are in the company of others or you realize that people are watching you, because you have a conscious mind, you take your time and eat. So you see, we cannot be subjected to rigorous scientific experimentation. When we know that we are being watched, we change our behavior accordingly. So that is basically the reason. When I give you the slides, you see a lot in it. Let's look at, there are other disciplines that also are referred to as social scientists. They are part of the social sciences. Why? Because they all deal with individuals. They deal with humans. Some of them include anthropology, political science, economics, history. They are all part of the social sciences. Even geography, they deal with humans. Let's look at the difference between sociology and then the other social sciences. First, anthropology. As I said, they share a common interest because they all deal with social organizations and human behavior. But the difference between sociology and anthropology is that sociology focuses on complex and modern urban structures or societies. So sociology will deal with complex or urban societies, while anthropologists concentrate on simple traditional societies. In other words, they focus on non-industrial societies. While sociology, so the difference between sociology and anthropology is that while sociologists are studying current happenings, while sociologists are studying complex societies, while societies are studying urban societies, anthropologists are also studying societies, but they focus on simple and traditional societies. That is the difference between sociology and anthropology. Two, let's look at political science. What are the differences between sociology and then political science? Political science is always interested in human behavior, just as sociology, but they focus on governance structures, and institutions. Sociologists, on the other hand, takes interest in all institutions, including governance institutions. So what is the difference? Both sociology and political science are interested in institutions, but political science only focuses on governance structures and institutions. But sociologists include all institutions, including religion, the family, everything. But political science just focuses on governance institutions. That is the difference between sociology and political science. What of economics? We know economics basically deals with the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. which is wonderful. So they focus on the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. That is economics. Sociology, on the other hand, focuses on economic behaviors that relates to social and cultural factors. In other words, like for example, how can age influence the economic behavior of people? How can the flip side is how can the economic behavior of influences, the economic behavior of a society influence age or probably sex or gender? So Econs is only interested in the production of goods and services, the distribution of goods and services, the consumption of goods and services. Sociologists are interested in how they influence, how they are related to social and cultural factors. So why are they producing crops? Why is it that crops are in vogue and companies are producing crops? That's rubber something that either to those in the hospitals were using and wearing, and now everybody wears some. Why are they doing that? They are doing that because it has an influence on maybe age or social class. People think that when you are wearing Crocs, it is fine, or it's the in thing. If you are not wearing it, you are not in a particular social class. Sociologists are interested in how all those things come about. Sociologists are interested in. Hello, is somebody asking a question? How all those things come. Take your time and speak so I can hear you well. Hello? Okay. Then we take psychology, another social science. What is the difference between sociology and psychology? Psychology focuses on individual mental and emotional states, and of course, behavior. Basically, psychology focuses on an individual, not the collective. So they are interested in an individual's mental state and how it influences that individual's behavior. But sociology focuses on human behavior in group life. How the group we find ourselves in influences our behavior. And that is the difference between psychology and sociology. So they are all interested in behavior of the individual. But psychology looks at the mental, emotional state of an individual to determine his or her behavior, or to explain his or her behavior. Sociologists will rather look at the social group that the individual finds him or herself in to explain the behavior that he or she is putting up. For instance, psychologists will say the person has a problem with the nervous system. That is why the person blinks the eye just like that, or the person walks in this manner. Sociology will look at the group in which the person relates with and say that, oh, in that group, when they are walking, they walk halfway. That's why this boy is walking halfway. So that is the difference between sociology and psychology. What about history? History is concerned with human activities over time. In other words, they are concerned with human activities and events, or they are concerned with historical developments. They are concerned with historical developments. Sociology likes history, but we use the past, things of the past, and compare it with the present to understand how things have changed In other words, we do historical analysis, historical comparative analysis. When I was a kid, this was how it was done. Currently, it is done this way. Then we'll do an analysis to know the changes that has occurred in society. History will not look at what has occurred in the past and relate it to the present. No, they are interested in studying the past and how things were. But sociologists will take what people did in the past, relate it to what is happening now, and know the differences that has occurred. That is the difference between sociology and history. So we are talking about sociology. What are the uses and or importance of sociology? What are the uses or importance of sociology? What does sociology do to us? One, it makes the individual consider society as a natural phenomenon. So the study of sociology or the importance of sociology is that it makes you, the student, you, the individual, see society as a natural phenomenon. Just as anything in the world, you also see society as a natural phenomenon. You remember what Emil Durkheim said? He said we must see society as a thing so that we can study it. So it makes you see society as a natural phenomenon, just like anything, so that you can study it well. Two, the study of sociology also makes individuals recognize and appreciate, of course, that social factors in the environment, we appreciate those social factors in the environment. Sometimes we take things for granted. Why is it that Christmas, everybody is plaiting the hair and few are wearing wig? Why? Sometimes we take it for granted. But no, there's a reason. Sociologists will let you appreciate all social factors in the environment. Then you understand why around Christmas, most people will plait their hair instead of just wearing their wig and moving around. Three, the study of sociology contributes to knowledge about the various variations of human interactions. So when we study sociology, of course, we look at it in the midst of the group we find ourselves in. And there are various ways in which we interact with each other. Sociology brings that to the fore. Another importance is that sociologists are needed. That's why it is important. We are useful, we are needed in every facet of life. So in enterprise, in academia, in businesses, sociologists are needed every area of life. For that reason, you ought to study sociology. Again, we contribute to practical policy making, because at the end of social reforms, at the end of the day, our research contributes to knowledge, and of course, it is used by social work people to bring about societal reforms. So we have there are a lot of importance of sociology. So you studying sociology, basically, it will broaden your mind, it will broaden your horizon, it will let you understand why most people behave the way they behave based on the social context. And most importantly, it is not in the slide. Sociology makes us understand other people, because we always analyze things based on the perception on the individual and not our perception. And that is why sociology is very, very important. We move on to the next slide. Any question before we move on? Any question? Any question? Any question? Okay. I assume there are no questions. And if there are no questions, then we move on to the next slide. Now let's look at sociological perspectives. Some of the perspectives that we use in sociology. Some of the perspectives that we use in sociology. Let's play around a little bit. So, my people, let's play around a little bit. Let me call one or two people. So we play around. This is Christmas, so let's play around a little bit. I want to mention a name, but the ladies who is online now, mention your name.
Sir.
Selena, thank you. Selena, Ali get to. I will not forget you. The gentleman who is online.
Naomi is also here.
Yes, Naomi. I will not forget you as well. The gentleman, mention some names for me.
Michael.
Mike, Asante. Okay. Another.
Mohammed.
Good. Now the two of you. I'm assuming you are living together. You are siblings and you are living together. And then you are living in a story building, so you are on the top floor. Sorry. Looking through a window. Michael and Muhammad, listen carefully because you are answering this question. And you saw Aligetu. Aligetu was then a young girl of about 19 years, fetching water outside. And unfortunately, the water fell on her. And so she was wearing a tight dress as well. And so the dress got stuck on her skin, on her body. Aligetu is laughing. Michael, I'm talking about Aligetu when she was 19. Michael and Muhammad, what did you see? If you are to report to me that you saw a beautiful girl downstairs, she was fetching what she was carrying her water, and the water fell on her. And because she was wearing a light dress and a straight dress, it was very tight on her skin. Muhammad, starting from you, how will you tell me? What did you see, or what will you see?
I will say I saw a young lady carrying water, and the water fell on her. She was wearing a tight dress, so it didn't matter. But her body, her buttocks was showing.
The what was showing? Muhammad, I'm listening.
You could see the shape. You could see a shape drawn in a dress.
Now, Samuel, you had not even asked you. You are saying it. Mike, how will you describe what you saw?
So I would describe it
to you that I saw a lady
Mm.
with a mini skirt,
Mhm,
and when the water fell on her,
mhm,
she has been taking a shape,
mhm.
and she had interest in it because she was laughing.
Okay, but how will you describe the shape? Boss, how will you describe that shape to me?
Coca-Cola shape.
Uh,
Coca-Cola shape.
Yeah. Because I'm sure you guys, I don't know whether we are getting to the end of the year, that's why. But you'll be saying a lot. You will talk about her breast. You talk about her butt. You talk about her shape. You talk a lot about her. Another person will also say that, oh, I saw one girl over there. She was not even wearing slippers. You see, all of you were looking at the same social phenomena. All of you were looking at beautiful alligator, but you saw her differently, or you were looking at different things. One saw her beautiful breast, firm breast, alligator. I'm sure that's how it is, right? Then another will say, oh, she was not even wearing slippers. Her slippers was torn. That was what somebody saw. Another person will just say that, oh, she had made her hair, oh, but the water spoiled her hair. That was what another person said. We'll see. Then another person will even say that, oh, and she was wearing a straight dress. But surprisingly, the straight dress is not see-through. That was what the person also saw. So though we all look at the same thing at the same time, sometimes we look at it differently. Earlier on, I told you about sociology, the importance of sociology. And the importance is that you tend to understand people because you look at it from their perspective. In the same way, we have sociological perspectives, and we have three major perspectives in sociology. These perspectives, ladies and gentlemen, are the conflict perspective, the functionalist perspective, and then the symbolic interactionist perspective. Why are perspectives important? Perspectives are basically views, how we see things. Sociologists see things basically in three major ways, and that gives rise to the perspectives. In alligator's case, somebody saw the breast. Meanwhile, it is the same alligator. Another person just saw that, oh, the beautiful hair is spoiled. She just made her hair and then the water has spoiled the hair. That is what the person saw. Another person will say that, oh, she was not even wearing slippers or the slippers was torn. That was what the person. Meanwhile, it's the same thing. And that gives rise to the three perspectives that we have in sociology. Now, what is a perspective or theory or school of thoughts? Let's start from there. Theories are a set of logical related statements that seeks to explain an event. Theories are logical related statements that seeks to explain an event. A sociological theory, therefore, are a set of ideas that provides an explanation for human society. So now we are looking at sociological perspective. So in sociological perspectives, they are the theories or sociological theory. They are theories or perspectives or ideas that provide an explanation for human society. So we have explanations for a lot of things. But in sociology, we use the three perspectives to explain it. The mere fact that somebody saw alligator not wearing or the slippers being torn, another person saying that, oh, the hair was beautiful, but the water spoiled the hair. And another person, and Muhammad saying that, oh, she saw that she had very firm and beautiful breasts. Doesn't mean that somebody is lying. No, it just tells us that they are looking at it from a different perspective. So no need, ladies and gentlemen, to go and fight. That's why I keep telling you that sociologists, we tend to understand people. Why? Because we look at it from their perspective, how they understand it. Somebody has made a road, and you are saying that the road is fine. Another person saw the road and said, oh, this thing, they did a beautiful asphalt road and they have taken their 10%. Must you fight? No. Somebody saw it like this, and another person is seeing that. If you are not seeing it from my perspective, fine. I don't need to argue with you because you are looking at it from a different perspective. Class, I'm sure you are understanding me. Hello? Very good, Mesha. Thank you. That is why sociological perspective is important. You tend to understand people. The mere fact that I see this way and you see that way doesn't mean that you are lying. I just will not argue with you because that is what you are seeing. I may not have seen it in that direction. Mike may not have seen that alligator's breast is firm and beautiful. It's Muhammad who saw it. Why must you argue with that? Because, alligator, we are talking about your breast today. Sorry. If your family is at home, put it on speaker so they can hear that today we are talking about you. But tell your husband, we have not seen it, so we are just using it as an example. So
Don't worry, I'm not married.
Ayo. So that is it. Mesha, why are you laughing? You heard the alligator is not married and you are laughing. Yo. So, ladies and gentlemen, we see things differently. And that, of course, gives rise to the perspectives that we talk about.
Hello, sir.
We have
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, Osman.
Yes, Osman. Tell alligator I'm around.
Anna, you tell her yourself. Oh, I beg you.
Tell her yourself.
I want no trouble.
I hope alligator had heard me.
That one, it is your matter. I beg you. Alligator will just put an emoji there so that you know that she has heard you. Alligator, let the emoji flow.
Thank you, sir.
Anyway, so we see things differently, and we see it in three different perspectives. So let's move on and look at the perspectives. They are the functional perspective, the conflict perspective, and then the symbolic interactionist perspective. Let's start with the functional perspective. The functional perspective, those who advocate for this perspective are known as functionalists. They are known as functionalists. And then key proponents of functionalism are August Comte, Emil Durkheim, Tapot Parsons, and then Robert Merton. They are all key proponents. In other words, they support, they advocate for functionalism. This functional perspective sees society as a complex system whose parts work together to promote solidarity and stability. So to the functionalists, their focus is always on order, stability, solidarity. And they believe that society is made up of different parts, but all the parts work together for the good of society. And when all the parts are working together, there will be stability, there will be solidarity, and there will be order in society. They liken society to any living organism. That is the functionalist. They liken society to a living organism. Maybe the human being. Humans, we have hands, we have eyes. They are different parts of the body. We have legs, we have stomach, we have nose. All of them, they are different parts, of course. They are doing different things, but they work together for the good of the body. For instance, the hand will take food into the mouth, the teeth will chew it, then the stomach will do what it ought to do, it comes out, the legs will take you to where you ought to go, it will come out, and then it will bring you home. the hands will cook for. So at the end of the day, the eyes are helping you to go around. The ears are alert, so you know what to do and what not to do at any given time. All these things, according to the functionalists, means that the parts, the living organism, which has different parts, all work together in unison for the good of the organ. In the same way, they liken society to such a living organism. The society has different parts. So we have the family, we have the education, we have the security, we have this. They all work, though they are separate things, they all work together for the good of society. And when they work together for the good of society, it promotes solidarity, stability, and order. So that is the idea of functionalism. Functionalism is sometimes referred to as structural functionalism. Structural functionalism, because it deals with various structures of society. The family is a structure. Education is a structure. Health is a structure. So we refer to it as structural functionalism. And because it looks at society in its entirety, we refer to, or we say, structural functionalism is a macro level analysis. It's always mode of analysis is always at the macro level. In other words, it analyzes societal issues on a broad scale. So they are all macro level theories. Structural functionalism is a macro level theory. What are the major assumptions that underlie functionalism as a perspective? One is what I said, stability. They believe that whatever it is, parts of the society work together to maintain society, and that brings about stability and order. Two, there is always harmony, because all the parts will have to work together for the good of the body. And so harmony is always the idea in functionalism. And finally, we talk of evolution. Functionalists believe that society evolves. Society evolves. And as society is evolving, we adapt to the structures so that all the structures will be in sync with what is happening, that no structure will be outdated or outmoded. So it talks about all the structures evolve. Look at marriage, for instance. Marriage has evolved. The structure is very important. Marriage. But now it has evolved. The way your grandparents got married is different from the way you are marrying now. Meanwhile, it is still marriage. So society knows that marriage is important. But how it is done, it has evolved. So it will adapt. Else it will be outmoded. So to the functionalists, all social structures also evolve. But they evolve because they ought to adapt. If they become outmoded, they will not be, what's the name? They will not have any importance in society. Let's talk about prostitution, for instance. Prostitution. You know that prostitution has adapted, right? Gentlemen, do you know that prostitution has adapted? Osman, Alligator just brought your emoji. Plus, you know that prostitution has adapted.
Yes, please.
Sarah, can you share with us how you think it has adapted? Alligator, I will not mind you.
So, I think now they have modernized it into hookups and then the rest. So,
You know that, Sarah.
so you sit at your home and you call for a hookup girl or a hookup boy, then the person will come. So they have modernized it.
That is it. Else, prostitution would have died out. Gone were the days where they have rooms and then they'll be sitting outside like people do in some corners. Then they'll say, when you are passing, they'll say, I am tough, come for good. Then they'll be pulling you. Now they don't do that. Now they dress well, they are all over the place, they leave their numbers in hotels and guest houses and other, they go for social programs. So all top programs, they are there, well dressed. Give out, they have what's the name? Complimentary cards. If you need them, you call them and then they come. So they have adapted. So now it's not like those prostitutes you see and then they'll be wearing yomo and die and then they are sitting in corners. No. That's why prostitution is still there, because it has been able to adapt. And that is about functionalism. Let's look at what Parsons and then Robert Merton said. According to Parsons, if an aspect of social life does not contribute to a society's stability or survival, it will not be passed on from one generation to the other. In other words, it will die out. So once the thing is still there, it means that it is functional. That is why we have the word functionalism. It is important. It is playing a role. So functionalists believe that everything in society plays a role for the stability of society, for the good of society. And Robert Parsons is telling us that once the thing is in society, it tells you that it is functional, it is important. That is why it is still with us. Example, prostitution. This tells you that prostitution is very good for society. That is why from the time of creation, we still have prostitution. If it were not important, by now prostitution would have died in society. But it is important, according to the functionalists. That is why it is there. So functionalists, most functionalists always look at for the good in everything that happens. However, Merton distinguished between manifest functions and latent functions. He said the manifest functions are, okay, I think we'll come to that. So let me take my time. Then we'll come to that. I'll ask you, because you've been doing those psychology, that philosophical something. What do you mean by manifest function? What is the difference between manifest function and latent function? Let me ask you. Can somebody help us? Manifest function, latent function. Hello, class. Talk to me. Class, talk to me. Selena, let's go.
Yes, sir. The manifest functions are consequences that are intended and commonly recognized. The manifest functions are consequences that are intended and commonly recognized.
Good. And what of latent functions?
Latent functions are consequences that are unintended and often hidden. For example, the manifest function of education is to transmit knowledge and skills to society's youth. But public elementary schools also serve as babysitters for employed parents, and colleges offer a place for young adults to meet potential mates. The babysitting and mate selection functions are not the intended or commonly recognized functions of education. Hence, they are latent functions.
Thank you. Selena, thank you very much. And so manifest functions are the intended consequences of an action. And the latent functions are the unintended consequences of an action. So you are here. Saturday afternoon, you are at lectures. What is the manifest function? You are doing it to earn a certificate so you can teach at a certain level. That is the manifest function. But what is the latent function? The latent function is that Osman is now proposing to Alligator. And who knows, maybe next year they will invite us to their wedding. That becomes a latent function. That wasn't the intended purpose of coming for lectures, but now they are there. Yeah, you see, People are clapping for you, alligator. They are your people love you. They are just giving you claps like that. So that becomes the latent function. So yes, these two functionalists are saying that. Alligator, I'm surprised you have not said anything. You and Pa. Normally you'll be sending emojis.
Sir, silence means consent.
Yeah,
Please,
thank you.
Selena,
Thank you.
talk for me. Don't talk for
Thank
me.
you. Osman, if you don't know and you don't know and you don't make any meaningful move, you will see what we will do to you. I will hold your certificate to you.
Say me, I am a different person now.
Here, you let Osman come, then you tell him.
No, since he actually brought it here, I think you're all supposed to know.
Hey, alligator.
So are you eyeing a different person in the group or outside?
Alligator is now
Is
a
the
Samara.
person
She
in the
can't even
group?
speak.
Actually in the group.
Wow.
Hey, group
Eh?
members, men, shine your eyes so you.
Actually, I'm eyeing the boss.
And who is that?
Hmm?
I beg you.
Boss.
Let's continue. I beg.
Thank you.
Alligator, I'll not mind you. You want to turn the tables on me? I'll not mind you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the functionalist and how they see things. But Parsons is telling us that everything in society is functional. That's why it is still there. If society feels that something is not functional, it will die out. Class, let's talk about female circumcision. I call it female circumcision. Others call it female genital mutilation. Is it important? The societies that they do that, is that important? Alligator, talk to me.
Okay, so looking at the reason behind they doing it, if it is actually what we all know, then I think it is not important because there are still people or women who have gone through that, but still they are doing why they actually had that in the first place. So I think the reason being that when they do that, the female child who abstain from sexual activities till maybe the person gets married or something, it's not like that. There are equally people, women, who have held themselves together till they actually got married before they had sex or sexual activities. So I think the reason is making the whole thing unimportant, in
Thank
my
you.
opinion.
Thank you, Alligator. Thank you. Any other opinion?
Any other opinion? Hello.
Osman, talk to me.
Osman, talk to me. Yes,
Usman,
to add up to what Alito I just put across.
it's Usman, you have to position yourself well. We cannot
FGM. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
It's Usman, you have to position yourself well. We can hardly hear you. Okay. Yes, sir. Can you hear me now? Yeah. So I'm saying that.
Hear you now.
One of the security, it is put across that the girl child will not be promiscuous and until marriage. That's
So the
one of
question
the
is it
reasons.
important?
Actually. Thank you. In which that is taking place is important. Hello.
Okay. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Osman, we've
Thank
heard you.
Yeah,
Any other?
Osman, we've heard you. Any other?
Yeah, Selena, let me hear you.
Sir, I will say, in my opinion, I don't agree with what Osman just said, that they wanted to curb promiscuity on the side of the women. I'll put at Osman that if they wanted to check promiscuity, had it not been modern times that we are all witnessing and hearing things about gayism and lesbianism and all those things, women flirt with men. The whole thing starts with men. And in our society, what is seen as being the norm is that it is the men that hunt for the women. You come and look for us, and when we give in, you say we are cheap. Initially, when you are not there, we are also sitting at somewhere. But when you come and you coerce us with your words, making us believe in the unimaginable, and when we accept, you sit somewhere and then you blame and you point fingers at us. Meanwhile, you are the originators and then the beginners of the whole thing. So please, this whole thing can't be accepted. We should all condemn it, because at the end of the day, it goes against the women extremely, because it affects our reproductive system, it affects our emotional beings, it affects our personalities, and it even affects our confidence level. So it is not healthy. Let's all condemn it and stop these accusations on the fact that they wanted to check promiscuity, which of course isn't the issue. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
thank you, Selena. Any other? I'm noting some things down. Any other? Mike, let me hear you.
Say, can I contribute?
Okay, Barbara, please do.
So when it comes to the importance of female circumcision, men will see it from a perspective, and women will also see it from a different perspective, because it has always been men that bring such tradition to control the bodies of women. They are calling it promiscuity, but men were equally and are still promiscuous. So it was just a way to control women's body. So the conversation and the argument will always go both ways. Most men, not all men, will always think it was for the better, because with that, men could control when to have access to women's body. Sex on the part of women mostly hasn't been for pleasure, but in exchange for protection or whatever. So if you listen to this argument, men will think it was for the better, and women will argue otherwise. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Babs. Now we are doing sociology. Hey. Any other? Man, let me hear one more. Then we move on.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Naomi.
Yeah, see, in those societies where they practice this female genital mutilation, mostly the men marry more than one wife. So, in order for them to be able to control the women, so that they get more wives, that is why they think it is good to practice that FGM something, so that they can get in more women to marry and control them. Thank you.
Thank you, Naomi. Angel is asking a question. So what is the reason for men's circumcision? Angel, the question that Angel just posed. Babs, do you want to talk about it? Let's hear you. Barbara, your hand is up.
Men's circumcision is yes, sir. Men's circumcision has health importance. On the contrary, when the man is uncircumcised, the shape of the manhood is in a such that bacteria and germs usually hide inside there. and can sometimes cause health. And so sometimes it's harmful to the men, and most especially to the women when they have intercourse with the women, because they transfer those bacteria to the women. So I think it's actually very, very hygienic for the men.
Because ultimately it helps the women.
Exactly.
Okay. It is becoming interesting, class. Oh, come on. Unfortunately, I can't see all your names, so I will mention names. Angel is laughing. That female circumcision, it doesn't help the women. But male circumcision, it helps the women. Okay. Any other?
Yes, sir.
So who is Jemima? I'll end on you.
It's also believed that the uncircumcised men, mostly ladies, do not enjoy sex from them.
Okay, ladies do not enjoy them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So when ladies are also circumcised, do they enjoy sex?
No, please.
So ladies, when they are circumcised, they don't enjoy it well. And when the man is also not circumcised, ladies don't enjoy. And when the man, Osman, please, you hold on. So basically, ladies don't. So Osman, you mute your mic.
Hello.
So, Osman, mute it. So Osman, you mute your mic. Thank you. So ultimately, what the class is telling me this afternoon is that when it comes to sex, it is for the pleasure of the woman. Ultimately. But we'll come to, I like the argument that came up. I like the argument very well. Especially when an argument came up that circumcision is done for the pleasure of the woman, for the man. And two, it's a means for the man or men to control women. I like that. Because after functionalism, we'll go to another perspective that basically talks about that. But class, my question, the reason why I said we are doing sociology this afternoon and I was happy was that the way you answered this question, simple question, brought to bear the various perspectives that we have in sociology. And when we get to any of the other perspectives, I'll bring it up again and then we'll explain it. But now, our attention is on functionalism. We are looking at the role that they play. Francis is saying that if something is not important, society will take it out. But if it is important, society will pass it on from generation to generation. So my question is, has female circumcision died out? If, despite the ills that we have, the suspicions that we have, if this practice is still there and still going on, then it tells you that the society that does that, they still feel it is functional. Per what Takot Parsons is telling us. That's how you getting the picture I'm painting. Others may not see it. Others may not see it to be important. But the society that practices it, they still think it is important. That's why they still do it. Remember I said, sociology, we don't look at things from our perspective, but we look at things from the perspective of the other person, how the other person understands and explains it. That's how we look at things. That is why sociologists, we don't condemn. I think the first time we met, I told you that we don't condemn. But the fact that we don't condemn doesn't mean that we support. No. If we disagree, we'll let you know we disagree. But we'll not say what you are doing is bad. Because we look at it from your perspective. And then we try to understand it from your perspective. So, going on, the mere fact that, per what Takot Parsons is saying, the mere fact that female circumcision is still there in some societies, despite the pressure from government, NGOs, and other well-meaning people, the practice is still there, tells you that the society that practices this particular thing still believe that it is functional. They still believe that it is important. That's why they are doing it. And as students of sociology, that is how you want to see it. You can't force them to do what they want. That is why the whites cannot force us to say we must all go gay. No. We understand them. That's what they want. They should also understand us. And I'm sure you are understanding me now. Babs. Barbara.
Yes, sir.
You are getting it now. So don't let emotions take over. We are doing sociology. Just relax. Okay?
So I'm not getting emotional.
No. You aren't. But of course, you were saying what government officials, NGOs, the international body, what they say. They forget that. Yes, they forget that. That's why normally we say society is having all these problems because anything that they do, they take out to the sociologists. The only thing that we could have done if the sociologists were to be part of everything that they do is that, no, if these people are still doing it, then it means a lot to them. We ought to find some means so that they can do it in a more healthier manner. And not just try to force them to stop. They will not stop. They will do it underground, and it will even be worse. Now, Robert Merton also said, yes, in sociology, that's the functionalist perspective. There are some things that are indeed functional, and there are some things that are dysfunctional. According to him, yes, functionalists believe that everything that goes on is important, it is functional to the well-being of society. But there can also be dysfunctional things. How does something become dysfunctional? According to Robert Merton, it becomes dysfunctional when the existing social order, when they challenge the existing social order, when they bring about stress and other things, when they put pressure on order, when they try to bring disunity, then when they try to destroy the organism, then it becomes dysfunctional. So yes, if it is important, it is functional. But then he also said sometimes functional things can bring about dysfunctional or can make society dysfunctional. And when society becomes dysfunctional, it brings about an element of disequilibrium. The social system must now work itself out to take off the disequilibrium and bring society back to its equilibrium state. That is what Robert Merton told us. So, there are factories. They are building factories. They are building factories. They are building, constructing walls in a village. It is functional. Young girls will be walking distances to the riverside to go and fetch water and come home. Now NGO goes into the society, says that no, and digs wall for them in the what's the name? Middle of the town and behind other people's homes. It is good. It is functional. Robert Merton says that sometimes it can also be dysfunctional. How will this be dysfunctional? When young girls in villages in the evening, when food is on fire, the evening meals is on fire, and they are going to fetch water from the riverside, you know what goes on? They talk among themselves. They share their little secrets. Boys standing in corners also watch them. They see who is ready to be touched and who is ready to be married. And girls love going to the riverside around that time. Now you come and build a wall behind their house. Where will they meet Dorothy? So that where will Grace meet Dorothy? Or Alligator meet Barbara? Then they will start gossiping small. No. It has become dysfunctional. It is distorting the social order. And so Osman, who will be standing in the corner to be watching alligator when she is coming to fetch water, will find some means to pollute the well so that they will not use the well again, and then they will go back to the riverside, and then when she's going, Osman will be watching her walking when she's carrying the water on her head. So that is what so that is what Robert Merton also brought. So he distinguished between functional aspect of society and then dysfunctional aspect of society. He said that the dysfunctional aspect of society challenges the social order. And so when that happens, there will be disequilibrium in society. And then to help bring it to back to order, society, the whole system must do some things to take out that dysfunctional aspect, so society will now be stable again. Class, do we understand functionalism now? Any question on functionalism? No question. Thank God. The next perspective is what we call the conflict perspective or the conflict theory. The conflict theory. Proponents of this theory include Karl Marx, Dahrendorf, etc. But I'll be looking at that. Now, the conflict theory addresses issues of tension, division, domination, exploitation, etc. Actually, it is also a macro level. It does its analysis at the macro level because it looks at or yes. So the people about of Oh, my people, sorry. Oh. Hello. Yeah, sorry. I accidentally, I think my airtime ran out. Sorry about that.
Fine, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I was talking and later I realized this thing was off. Sorry, crowd. Let me hurriedly share the screen so that we move on. Okay, so I guess we can move on. Hello. Just give me thumbs up if you can hear me and you can see the screen I've shared. Thank you, Naomi. Thank you so much. Yeah, Salah, thank you all. All right, thank you. Samba, your hand is up. Is it a question, please? Rufina, do you have a question?
No, sir, please, it's a mistake.
It was a thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all. Okay, so we are now moving to the second perspective, that is the conflict theory. As I said, the conflict theories always talk about exploitation. They talk about domination. They feel that society is split into two. And so there's always tension in society. So that is what they call the dialectics. Tension is dialectics. So the first assumption is the dialectics. This assumption explains that social change occurs as a result of conflict rather than through evolution. The functionalists were saying there can be social change. Once something is dysfunctional, of course, slowly society can adapt or do something to it, and then it returns back to normal, or there will be other instability. So it evolves. But conflict saying, no. Change can come, but change comes about because of conflict. Barbara, you are married, right?
No, sir.
Okay. But you have a partner, right?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. What was he doing that you did not like? That now he has changed.
Sir, come again.
What was he doing initially that you did not like, but now he has stopped doing those things?
Nothing, sir.
Hey, your partner is 100% perfect. Then you are fortunate too.
Yes, sir.
Are you? Meshach is laughing. Benis, tell us about you. Benis, tell us about yours. Benis. Well, shall nobody will mind you. Benis, tell us about yours. Hey, who is this? Oh, you people, dear. Let's near the crowd. Jemima, are you married?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What was your husband initially
But there
doing?
were two.
What was your husband initially doing that you did not like, but he has stopped?
Like special occasions without gifts.
No, you don't
And
give
always
him gifts.
silent.
You think that gift is
I
one
do.
dimensional?
I used to
Gift is
do.
not one dimensional, my sister. You do. Then after man, what the fuck?
But it has changed.
Gentlemen, tell the ladies that gift giving is not one dimensional. Tell them. It is not one directional. It is both ends. Oh, Jemima, I'm serious. Okay, Mike, are you married?
I used to do.
Oh, let's go. I need somebody who is married who can share what I want to say. I want to use that as an example.
Okay.
What was he doing that he initially did not like, but now he has stopped doing those things?
Okay.
Yes.
Like something like you
Anything.
maybe calls they say, and then you not returning the call without an explanation.
When you are with him. Right. Okay, it's okay. That's enough. Very good. But now he has stopped. What did you do that made him stop? What did you do that made him stop?
What I did was I also stopped. Like I wasn't doing anymore. So he felt it, and then finally we had to sit and talk about it.
Thank you.
So
and that is an example of a dialectic. That is an example of dialectic. Very good. Very good. So you see, the conflict theory says that there's always a tension. And that tension, or rather conflict, is a result of change. So to the conflict theory, the first assumption is that there's always tension in everything that we do. Conflict is not war, that we're taking arms and fighting, no. But conflict is basically disagreement. And according to this theory, change comes about as a result of disagreement or conflict. And so when Jemima is at home with the husband will be making calls or receiving calls, and sometimes some calls, phones will come in, and then he will just look at the screen and then leave it. He will not pick. Of course, Jemima showed disapproval. And once she showed disapproval, that is dialectic. It has brought about change. So now, Frank will not be making unnecessary calls when Jemima's head is on his lap. He will not pick calls. He puts the phone somewhere, or maybe on silence. And then later on, he can make his calls when he's free or alone. That is the first assumption of the conflict theory. So that is dialectics. Dialectics is the same as tension. The second assumption is that of economic determinism. Now, this theory says that everything that goes on in this world has an economic aspect in it. And it is this economic aspect that brings about the conflict. So all our social life and social relationships are all rooted in economic issues. So everything is economic. Sometimes we ignore the economic aspect, but it is economic. You heard Jemima saying that the husband doesn't give gifts. You are somebody's daughter. He is somebody's son. The two of you met, and yet you want him to be giving you gifts. It is economic. Always I tell my students, and then they will be like regular students, your parents are taking care of you. Sometimes your mother will sell charcoal and get money and give it to you. Then another person's daughter, you use that small money that your parents give you, and then you'll be taking care of somebody else's daughter. And then on campus,
so simply because he wants something from the girl. So if you want something, then you exchange. You spend and she gives. That's all.
No.
Nothing is mutually.
Relax. At the end of the day, my dear.
Lina, what are you selling?
Oh, Clara, ask.
That's the boy wants something from you. What are you selling?
We're not selling.
What the person
Clara,
is saying
you
is
know that.
obvious.
Clara, you know that. You know that. Abi, you know that.
No, but that thing that you people are talking about, at the end of the day, it is the other person who is rather benefiting, not the person spending. It's the other person who is benefiting. If we are honest with ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, everything that a man does, it is to please a woman. That's all. So the man technically doesn't enjoy. If we are talking about enjoyment, it is the woman who enjoys, not the man. And you are honest with that. So why must I even pay you for you to enjoy? Especially when it is your parents who are giving you money. If the person is fine working and decides to do it, fine. But you're a student, level 100, 200, university student, why must your parents suffer to get money for you? Anytime I say it in class, then the boys will be annoyed with me. But it is true. Sometimes the girls will say, no, that is not it. But that is the truth. If I'm touching you in a certain way, I'm not touching you because it gives me pleasure. I'm touching you because it gives you pleasure, not me. So who enjoys? Not me. Man, we suffer. Anyway, so I'll look at Angel. Angel is saying that Adam was made to take care of. Hey, Angel, wait you. Angel, this your statement there. It tells me you don't go to church. You've now corrected yourself. Okay, so let's move on, class. So the second one is economic. They say everything is rooted in economic. So even talk about marriage, there's an economic aspect. Talk about relationship, there's an economic aspect. Talk about steady mates, there's an economic aspect. So to the conflict theories, everything is rooted in economics. Everything. Even normal friendship. If somebody feels that he or she is not getting anything from you, you won't be a friend. That somebody that he will call a friend, he or she will call a friend. And then the third one, assumption in conflict theory, is that of social criticism. Conflict theories critiques everything because they see exploitation, they see domination in everything. I use building roads, quality roads, as an example. Somebody will build a road, a quality road, an asphalted road, 4 lane, 2 lane, 3 lane. It's so beautiful. The functionalists will see it, they say, oh, come on, this thing will open up this place. This place will be so fine. This place will be this. The conflict theory will always see exploitation and domination in it. Oh, the person is doing it so that he can win votes there. Oh, the person is doing it because it goes to his or her hometown. Oh, the person is doing it because the father is dead and very soon there will be a funeral there, so he's getting the road ready. Oh, the person is doing it so that he will get his 10%. The conflict theory sees everything in it. So the conflict theory actually calls for social activism because they critique everything and expect that change must come. These are the 3 perspectives in the conflict theory. Now, there are some common things between the commonalities between the conflict theory and then the functionalist theory. So before I look at the commonalities, let me go back to what Barbara said earlier on with regards to female circumcision. Babs, are you online? Barbara, are you online?
Yes, sir. Let's.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just as most NGOs say, and just as most feminist groups also say, Barbara reiterated it. She said, female circumcision is just an act for men to dominate women, for men to control women, because they want to control the women's sexual feelings or sexual whatever to the benefit of men. Now, that line of debate basically falls within the conflict theory, who sees exploitation and domination in everything. So you remember when she was saying it, I said, I'm so happy we are doing sociology. Though we're talking about functionalism then, issues about conflict theory came. Other ladies who also contributed, Jemima and Co, they all supported the conflict theories. But basically, it was like men use female circumcision to subdue women. They use it as a tool to subdue them. That is domination. That is exploitation. And that is how the conflict theories sees things. So if you are a functionalist, you will see good in everything. But the conflict theories will always see exploitation in something. That's same thing. It doesn't mean that the two of you must quarrel and fight. No. All that it means is that, oh, the person is looking at it from a different perspective. And you're also looking at it from a different perspective. Let the person go his way, go your way. Explain your perspective to the person. Let the person explain his or her perspective to you. If the two of you do not see eye to eye, you say, thank you. I understand the perspective you are coming from. That's all, and you walk away. No need fighting. No need quarreling. I wish all Ghanaians will be reading sociology. They will understand that even when it comes to politics, there's no need to fight. Kill someone, beat someone up, because the person sees things in a different perspective and you also see it in a different perspective. No. The third perspective, we said we are looking at the commonalities between functionalism and then conflict theories. Let's look at them. One, they all offer general explanation of society. For that reason, we say they are all macro theories. So both conflict theory and then functionalism are macro theories because they offer general explanations of society as a whole. Two, they all regard society as a system. So sometimes we refer to both theories as system theories. We refer to them as system theories because they regard society as a system that is always at work. Three, they see the behavior of humans as shaped by the social system structures. They see that the behaviors that we put up are all shaped by the system. They are all shaped by society. Four, where they depart from each other is that one, conflict theories looks at issues of power and inequality. Conflict theories look at issues of power and inequalities. An area of departure for the two, another area of departure for the two is that the conflict theories reject the functionalist emphasis on consensus, because they always see dialectics in everything that happens in society. So to them, there is always tension. There is always, Babs, let me hear you. Your hand is up.
So I would like to write down those points. The similarities and the differences. So if you can take it slowly for us again.
Babs, I'll give you the slides if you wouldn't mind. So all course reps from all centers, immediately after this lecture, send me hi. You say hi, then you write maybe Lutran, hi, then you write Sunyani, then I'll be sending you so that you share it with your colleagues. Babs, will that help you? Hello, Babs.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ekuya Barbara.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll
sir.
Thank you to Barbara. All right. So I'll share the slides, including the previous ones. All right. Thank you. You all know my number, so make sure you just send me hi on WhatsApp. Immediately, I'll send it to you. But it must be almost immediately after the lecture, please. Now, the functionalists are always talking about consensus. So they are all working together so that there will be order and stability. So they are always talking about consensus. But conflict theories always sees the social world in that there's always dialectics in the social world. There's always struggle. There's always conflict in the social world. That is how they see it. And that is the departure from functionalism and then conflict theory. Let's look at the third perspective, which is the symbolic interactionism. Symbolic interactionism. Class, let us play around a little bit. Let's play around a little bit. Let's play around a little bit. Naomi. Naomi, yes. When you were a very little girl, maybe young teenager, 13, 14, 15, how were boys referring to their girlfriends? How were they calling them?
Accra, it was Jolly.
In Jolly. Okay,
Jolly,
thank
yeah,
you.
that time I was in Accra, so it was Jolly.
Jolly, thank you. Clara, how are they referring to young girls, the girlfriends? Clara.
Sir.
Talk to me.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Everybody can hear you.
Hello.
Clara, we can hear you, La. Okay, Clara is helloing us. Let me go to someone else. Name should I mention? Oh, come on. Okay, share with me how people were referring to their girlfriends when you were growing up. We have Jolly. Anyone who wants to speak, please speak up.
Bossing mate.
Boxing.
Bossing mate.
Boss.
No, I said bossing. B-O-S, yes, bossing mate.
Bossing mate. Okay, so we had bossing mate, we have Jolly. Any more? Oh. Yeah, Selena, talk to me.
Sir, in my area where I come from, they refer it to Miko Minipa.
Minipa, thank you. Minipa, thank you. Mary, your mic is hot.
My area to my Minipa.
Minipa, okay.
Yes. And the Ashantis, Kumasi people, they say that my father.
My then.
Yeah, they will say that. Usi would say that kind of thing.
Usi, ABC.
As in Uzi, hello? I don't know what that means.
That is Uzi.
Okay, so
it's Uzi.
Okay, so Udi and then Uzi too. Okay. Any more? Hey. You people, when you were young, when people proposing to you, tell me some. The men, how are you calling the ladies? Your girlfriends? Salah, tell me how what's the name? Idrus, how he was referring to you. Salah, talk to me.
I don't know Idris.
What's the name of your husband?
It's a long story. Later.
Okay. But how were they referring to you when you were 13, 14?
Sobo.
Okay, thank you. Now, class, if Salah, where were you?
Actually, I'm in Gosu.
Okay, thank you. So, if somebody is from Gosu, and then the person goes to Kumasi, and then the person is referring to the girlfriend or talking to someone, a boy there, a friend, and say that, Benjamin Soboho, I've left my Sobo, so it pains me, but I have to go back to Gosu. Would the Kumasi boy understand the Gosu boy? The answer would be a no. So. The first question that he will ask is, what is Sobo? Because in Kumasi, they may not call the girlfriend Sobo. Maybe they will say, Miguel, and I'm Shoddy, and I'm me, whatever. So
And I'm a small girl, no.
And also me a senior girl.
A small girl, no.
I'm a small girl. Thank you.
Oh, shoddy.
Or the shoddy, fine. So you see, this brings us into the third perspective, which is the symbolic interactionist perspective. Now, this perspective basically deals with how individuals one-on-one communicate. And so the first thing about this theory is that it is not a macro level theory. It analyzes social events one-on-one individually. So it is a micro level theory, not a macro level theory like functionalism and conflict. Now, if I say, they call me Shodio, another person from maybe one village will not understand Shoddy. You maybe understand, they call me Pina and I may call me girl. Right. So it tells you that the language that we speak, the language, how we speak with each other. Richard, who's radio? Obi Trevor and Chechiano. Now, the language that we speak, defines how we see things, and it defines things for us as well. Now, so the symbolic interactionism, key proponents of symbolic interactionism includes Erwin Goffman, Charles Cooley, Herbert Mead, and of course, George Homans. They are all proponents of this particular perspective. They criticize both the functionalist perspective and then the conflict perspective because they only focus on the larger society, right? And do not focus on how it affects individuals in the society. In other words, they criticize the macro theories, saying that they ignore the micro things, individuals who are the key things in society. They ignore them, and then they rather talk about big things, leaving out the key thing. So symbolic interactionism basically rejects the notion of social system and does not regard human behavior as shaped by the social system. They claim that the human behavior is shaped by the interactions that goes on in a particular setting. So the interactions that goes on between you and me rather shapes our behavior. It shapes your behavior than the societal one. That is why, despite the fact that your pastor always talks about the fact that because you are not married, do not have sex, because you are not married, and he'll be telling everybody, the church will be telling everybody, the whole community is saying it, you still dodge it, then you have sex with Kwekumen. It is because of what Kweku, so your behavior has changed. But it's the one-on-one relations, one-on-one interaction with Kwekumen that has made you change your behavior. Now you do what you do with Kwekumen. Now, that is the symbolic interactionism. But in symbolic interactionism, there is always a subjective meaning of human acts. So as we interact, we create societies and its institutions, and there's always a subjective meaning. If I tell my friend that today is Christmas, Boxing Day, today is 27th, okay. Today is okay, we are still in the Christmas mood. I want to, this evening I'll just pass by the blue kiosk and then see what I can do. Richard Edinkra, how do you understand blue kiosk? How will you understand it? Richard?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Richard. Blue kiosk, how do you understand that term?
Blue kiosk actually means where they sell application, local name, as alcohol.
Okay, so
alcohol.
Where they sell the local drinks, application, and other things, and all the bitters, fine. Salamatu, how will you understand blue kiosk?
Yeah, so please, it's a place where they sell application. The
Okay,
hard
where
liquor.
they sell like quotation, hard liquor. Thank you. Sarah, what about you? Sarah, we'll see. Okay. If Sarah will not talk, let me go to my very own. Alligator.
Maybe I don't know, kind of feel like where the actual people stand because I don't know wherever I pass
Where they
the actual people stand, you know, like I don't know where they sit or where they normally there are some places when you are
okay,
passing.
where people congregate and then they talk, they play draft, they do things there, right? Is that what you are referring to? Alligator.
Say, I'm saying that normally, you know, like there are places in the areas where you will see
Uh-huh.
women sitting and, you know, waiting for, I don't know, but then the places normally they are paid, you know. I've realized that all the places that I've
Alligator,
seen.
we are doing sociology. We are doing social so that and they are doing you know, I don't
So
know. Tell us, we are doing sociology.
some women will be sitting and be waiting for men to talk. I don't know.
To talk.
I don't know.
Alligator. We are doing sociology. Speak well and stop what you are doing. Say
Okay,
what you
okay.
want to say. This is sociology.
Yes, like where the prostitutes in the local,
So
like
the
the
word
small.
prostitute is anything that you going run like that. This is sociology. Sociology, feel free. You say it the
Okay,
way it is.
okay, sir.
Somebody is saying that you mean the 2-2 base.
Yes, the 2-2 base.
And then you say sociology, please. Okay. So you see, that is how another person understands the blue kiosk. But for all you know, the blue kiosk that I and my friend we refer to blue kiosk might be where the woman sells what is it? That food that I don't like. When I see students eating it, then I'm annoyed with them. Oh, like noodles, that thing. Oh, you will help me here. Indomie, where the woman sells it. Maybe that is what me and my friend refer to as blue kiosk, right? So you see, the symbolic interactionists believe that we interact, but as people interact, they create a meaning out of it. So the meanings of things are based on the interactions that individuals have. So when I say blue kiosk with my friend, we are talking of the Indomie seller. Another person might think it is a 2-2 base. Another person might think it is why they sell accommodation, right? So they may not understand my term, but my friend understands because when I say, "Oh, Charlie, it's evening, so me, I'm passing by the blue kiosk," he knows that I'm going to buy Indomie to eat. So symbolic interaction, it says that as people interact, they create meaning, and these meanings can be changed or altered at any given time. Just as some years ago, somebody will be calling the girl, "Oh, this person is my girl." Now they will call them my baby, my whatever. Right? Some years past, they were calling their girlfriends, "Oh, sugar, Annie." Now they say baby, and now I don't even know. Alligator. Now, what is the term? How do they refer to you?
Shorty.
Shorty. As in
Yes,
short.
please. As in SHAWTY. Shorty.
Hey, I've not heard of it. Hey, Mohammed says that what? Spec. I've not heard of it before. Hey, I see.
Then we have my chick. I'm going to my chick.
My chick. Yes. Chick,
Yes.
brother, I think that one I know it. Alligator, how do they refer to you? Tell me, my baby. Joanna says baby. Mohammed says Kala.
They say my love.
Alligator, I'm interested. Another Salah says babe. Alligator, how do they refer to you? Tell me, la.
My love.
Yeah. Okay. Alligator's one is love. Now, ladies and gentlemen, so you see, we are saying that symbolic interaction say that the meaning is not static, it also changes over time. So years ago, it was chick, it was whatever. Now it is just the names that you people are mentioning. It has changed over time. So that is the symbolic interactionism. Hey, Nathan, you said my what? I don't understand you. Is that another term? My what? Okay. Okay. So what are the assumptions of symbolic interactionism? One, interaction is made possible by the development of a shared symbolic meaning. Interaction is made possible by the development of a shared symbolic meaning. Now, according to this theory, the first thing is that people must interact. But people are able to interact because they have developed a shared meaning. We interact because when I say, I remember years ago, I went to a certain village to visit an uncle. The boys were speaking in reverse, and I did not understand that language. But they were talking, they would speak, and then they would be laughing at me. Young boy from Takrade, I did not understand anything. Their language was in reverse. If they say, may call, they will say, call me, and like it was reverse language. And they were able to fluently speak it. Now, symbolic interactionism is saying that we can only communicate and communicate well when we have developed a shared symbolic meaning. So I will understand what you say and you understand what I say. That is why it is a micro level theory. So we can be in the same room with 4 people. I'll be speaking, and language is not only oral or verbal. I can be speaking using my eyes, using my hands, using whatever, and others may not understand, but you will, because we have developed a shared symbolic meaning. 2, as I said, it is a micro level. It does its analysis at the micro level angle. The third one is that interaction means action between individuals. As individuals interact, of course, it relates or touches on their behavior. As we interact, there is always action between us because it changes behavior. And finally, it assumes that action is meaningful to those involved. So as we interact, whatever goes on is meaningful to those of us who are involved. Others may not understand it. So that's why sometimes people don't understand. They will see somebody, and I have a case now that I am tackling before the semester ended on campus. Some parents came to me complaining that their daughter, one foolish boy is worrying their daughter. And of course, I spoke with them, I spoke with the girl, I spoke with the boy, etc. They understood each other, and then everything ended. Before we came, I saw the 2 of them. One evening, I stepped out. They were also there. The 2 of them, the students, the 2 students, the boy and the girl. I just looked at them and I said, "Oh," I said, "I didn't say." I did not let them see me anyway. But immediately I left. I sat in my car and then I called the girl. "Where are you?" Luckily, she did not lie. She told me, "Oh, I'm at the breeze." It was near the shore. "And what are you doing there?" "Oh, well, we are vacating tomorrow. We are going on break tomorrow. So I came with." Then she mentioned the boy's name. It was around 9:30 p.m. You were there with the boy. A boy that a month ago, you told me that everything is ended. Your parents were there. You also said it. Last day, you were there with him around 9:30 p.m. Anyway, But you see, the two of them understand each other. And of course, that's what symbolic interaction is saying. It says that the action is meaningful to them. So their parents were not seeing the importance of they being there. I did not see the importance, but the two of them see the importance. I don't know what the boy gives the girl, but well, they were there. Selena, I said more. Now, one thing about symbolic interactionism is that people must be able to interpret and understand the meaning of the symbols. Why? Because if you are unable to interpret or understand the meaning of the symbol, communication will be null and void. So it is another assumption of the symbolic interactionism. Right. So we end with the symbolic interactionism, and then let's give ourselves some 10 minutes break, and then we go to another slide. Today we are done with 2 slides. We are going to the 3rd one. We have 6 slides in all, 6 lessons in all. We have 2 more meetings after today, and so we'll go to the next one. So let's give ourselves a little break, and then you come back. Please don't stay long. It is 2:36 per my watch. 2:41. It means I'm giving you 5 minutes. 2:41. I'm coming back. Thank you. Yes, somebody is asking a question. Symbolic interactionism basically is coded. The interaction is coded. That is why you have to understand to make a meaning out of it. If you do not understand, that's all. You cannot make any meaning out of it, and you cannot communicate. There will not be any interaction because you cannot break it. You cannot understand it. So yes, more or less, that is how it is.
Say.
Talk to me, please.
So the symbolic interaction is, does it have any importance?
Yes, it does. It gives us the meaning, the shared meaning of interactions, of symbols, of language. We get that is most important. And 2, it takes into cognizance the how do I say it? The perspective of individuals. So if Barbara, what is the name of your partner?
Bertrand.
What did he say?
Bertrand.
Bertrand. Now, class.
Yes, sir.
If you see any Bertrand anywhere, tell the person that that person is taken by Barbara. And so it is hands off. Class, did you hear me? If you see any Bertrand.
The class is on break. It's like with you and I.
Because I have to tell them so that they protect Bertrand for you.
They are on break. It's just so, you and I, sir.
I've heard you, Babs. So, yes, it is important because you take into consideration, remember, it's a micro level theory. So, you take into consideration the feeling, the understanding of another person. And that is why it is key to societal development. You know, if you don't consider the feelings, the interpretation of other people, always you'll be making mistakes. You'll be assuming for them, you'll be making assumptions for them. But symbolic interaction makes you understand why A is doing what he does. And of course, you can help A if you so want to.
So these 3 perspectives, is one supposed to be a better approach?
Babs, please say it again. I did not hear that.
These 3 perspectives.
Yes.
Is one of them supposed to be a better approach than the others?
No. No, we know we are doing sociology, my dear. And I told you, we don't judge. We only try to understand. So what the approaches tells us is that people look at things differently because they see things differently, they interpret it differently based on how they see it or based on the perspective from which they are coming from. So that is why we understand that people may have divergent views. But when it is akin to you, when it is not how you see yours, you just have to let them be. They are just speaking from a different angle. So all perspectives are good and they are necessary. No one, of course, somebody can say that mine is better than yours. But no, for the sociologists, they are all good because they all explain social phenomena from a different view.
All right, sir. So if I get you, studying these three perspectives is to enable us to understand humans better or even the society.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because sociology is about society and how we understand it. So it makes us understand individuals better. So going forward, sometimes when veteran does something, understand him. Look at it from the perspective you don't need to be annoyed. Of course, let him know that I don't buy into this. But this isn't something that the two of you must be on no talking terms for 3 months. No.
So that never happened.
It should never happen to. Make sure that's why you are learning sociology.
Yeah,
never let that happen. Never let that happen. Thank you, my sister. Never, ever let that happen. So, I can see. Listen, I know you are lying, but don't do it. Me, I don't like that. And then you tap him, and then you give him a peck, and then you give him food to eat. That's all. Next time you say that as for my wife, she's a different being. This thing, no go area.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Have we commenced? Hello. Have we commenced the break?
No, not yet. Maybe in the next 2 minutes or thereabout.
Oh,
yes,
in the next 2 minutes or thereabout. Oh, okay.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Please, so I'm not hearing anything, no, or it has not started.
I'm also not hearing anything. I don't know.
Hello, sir.
I think we are on break.
It seems
Okay,
he's not in yet. He's not in yet. He's not
okay,
in
maybe
yet.
it's not back. Okay, okay.
Okay. Good afternoon, class. Hello. Good
Good afternoon,
afternoon.
sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Thank you. So we can move on, right? The fourth slide. I think we have 3 more slides. After this, we'll have 2 more. So next week and then the last week, we'll finish with our course outline, everything on our course outline. This afternoon, we'll be looking at culture. Culture. Some will say culture. Hello, is everybody present? How many are? I have 34, 33. Okay, yeah, Joanna. Yeah, my alligator is here, so I can start. Once alligator is here, then I can start. And alligator will work.
So I think everyone is here.
Just was an hour boy. You too,
alligator can't say to me.
Please start.
You can talk.
Salah.
Okay, so we'll be looking at culture. So one thing about culture is that we say it is polysemous. We say culture is polysemous because it means different things to different people, and in usage, people use it differently. Because of that, we say culture is polysemous. The way Europeans define and see culture is different from the way Africans define and see culture. That is why we say it is polysemous. The differences come about sometimes because of environmental factors, economic factors, religious factors, political factors. But whatever it is, culture definitely means something different to other people. When I say my culture is beautiful, more beautiful than yours, some may think I'm talking about dress. Others may think I'm talking about artifacts. Some may think I'm talking about food, right? Others may think even language. That is why we say culture is polysemous. In other words, it means different things to different people. Again, the symbols that we have mean different things to different people. So you see a mask that has a strange marking on it. You say this means that the people are cannibals. They eat the flesh of other humans. Another may see it and say that, oh, this symbolizes that these people were warriors. You see, so sometimes our artifacts also mean different things to different people. All these go into the fact or point to the fact that culture is polysemous, that it means different things to different people at any time t, at any given time. What is culture? What is culture? Alligator. Once you're online, definitely I'll mention your name. What is culture?
Okay, culture is the way of life by people. So that's how they dress, the languages they speak, and the food they eat. So that
Is
makes,
that alligator speaking?
yes.
Hey, alligator, if you are getting now bomb slangs say.
So, sir, we are so there. We are so wrong. I mean, we won't talk. Let us night.
If you can take it, alligator is giving me slangs. Okay, alligator, what is culture?
Okay. Culture is the way of life. So that is to say how people, the languages they speak, how the food they eat, and then how they dress. That makes them. Oh, what am I
Okay,
saying?
thank you. So you see,
But sir,
culture
you
is
seem to forget. Sir, you seem to forget. The lady said she is eyeing you. So let us nice more. She's doing this to
Selena,
get
Asemo. I asked alligator a question, and then all of a sudden the slangs were flowing like that. Alligator. Oh, it wasn't me. Oh. She said that she was targeting the person here, not me. I wasn't the one.
So say you are the one, you are the one. Don't worry. You are a pencil.
Selena,
Yeah, we know her.
I
We know
come to
her.
We
We
all
you.
know her.
agree. Sir, we
Have I
all
come?
agree. Don't worry.
Selena, Baba won't change, but I come back to you.
Okay. And now do best. Okay. So that is culture. But you see, since GSS Day, we've been defining it, and everybody will tell you, oh, culture is the way of life of a people. Yes, it is the way of life of a people. But it goes beyond that. Of course, the way of life of a people is correct. Because the way of life of a people is huge. A lot of things go into the way of life of a people. So we have different scholars defining culture differently. And I will not go through all of them. I will not go through all of them. But the definition of culture that we most like, that we most use, is that of, oh, where is it? I don't have it here. How come? Is that of E.B. Taylor. E.B. Taylor, who said culture, in his definition of culture, let me quickly say it. In his definition of culture, he said it involves a whole lot of things. He made references to a whole lot of things, including aspects of culture that is even yet to come. That's the definition of culture that I will prefer that you use. Actually, at this level, we prefer that you use that definition of culture. So what is culture? According to E.B. Taylor, culture is that complex whole. Culture is that complex whole, which includes knowledge, belief, acts, morals, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of a society. This definition of culture is holistic. And at this level, I'll prefer you use E.B. Taylor's definition. Though all the other definitions that's on the slides are correct. But E.B. Taylor's definition of culture is holistic. And that is what most scholars will use and we go along with. So he said, culture is that complex whole. When he says culture is that complex whole, what does it mean? It means that culture is all embracing. Culture is something that we cannot just pinpoint. It is that complex whole, which includes, so by using which includes, it means that he is just mentioning some of the things. Culture is a whole gamut. It's a whole huge thing. So it is that complex whole, which includes knowledge, belief, acts, morals. He did not end there. And he said, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by a man as a member of a society. So in a society, we are likely to acquire other capabilities, other habits, other knowledge as a member. So EBTLS, that's why we love EBTLS definition. He goes beyond what we are doing now and even makes references to things yet to come and other habits acquired by a man. They all form part of our culture. Not quite long ago, the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa, in an interview said, in his time, lesbianism will never be entertained. But it doesn't mean that some years to come, Ghanaians will not accept it. Ghanaians were all over the place for his pound of flesh. They were on his neck. But what he said was right. According to E.B. Taylor, as we move as society, there is the possibility that people will acquire other habits, other capabilities, and they are all part of our culture. They will all form part of our culture. So if in 20 years' time, lesbianism and gayism, the activities of that wing or those wing becomes part of our society, it forms part of our culture. About 6 years ago, I accompanied a colleague lecturer to marry a lady in Osu. Some of the things that the girl's in-law took included laptops and tablets.
Hey.
Yes. He said the children were, the younger brothers, there were two of the lady, were going very soon, they will enter university. So he needed those things as well. He took 2 laptops and 2 tablets as part of the things.
Marriage romance.
So it tells you that there are always other capabilities and habits that man can acquire. And E.B. Taylor made references to that as well. He said they all form part of our culture. All right. So what are the characteristics of culture? What are the characteristics? Simply, this is, we've done, all of us, most of us have done culture, so we'll not be wasting time on this slide. What are the characteristics of culture? One, it is transmitted. It is transmitted. Aligatu, what favorite food can you prepare?
I can do fufu with chicken and light soup, and I can also do jollof rice, and I can do tiozafe with ayoyo, and I can also do wache with shito, and I can do apple with okra, dry
Class,
okra.
okay, it's okay. Class, have you seen what Alligator is doing? He's telling me that
how about
what I want.
I'm not sure she can prepare it. So the way she is mentioning that, I'm not sure she can prepare it.
No. Listen.
How about wasa and Willie? Wasa and Willie? Can you do that too?
No, I haven't made
Alligator, don't answer that. Don't answer that. What I want the class to understand is that Alligator is telling me that she's a marriageable material. She can prepare any food that I want.
Exactly.
So you see, you learned how to prepare some of the food that you mentioned, probably from your mom or from your elder sisters or from friends. Now, your mom knew how to prepare a yo-yo soup. She taught you. You go and ask Barbara how she learned to prepare palm nut soup. It is because she was helping the mom in the kitchen, so she got to learn how it is done. How did you learn to speak? Your mom taught you your L1. Your parents taught you. Your siblings were saying it. And then, of course, you picked it. So culture is transmitted from one generation to another generation. That is the first character. It is also shared. People among a particular society share the culture. They have a common culture. That's why you can say that these people are Ekrapim, those people are Fantis, those people are Insiemens, and those people are Frafra. because they share a common culture. Culture is learned. We do not, we are not born with culture. We learn it. We learn it, and we learn it through socialization. Culture is cumulative. We add on. We add on. That's why culture is cumulative. So the way our grandparents were doing things are not the same way we are doing ours. We have added on. Even the language that we speak. Our great grandparents never spoke about maybe fridge. But now in our language, though it is L1, it is language, fridge is English, we have added it into our L1. So no matter the language that the person is speaking, if the person wants to say fridge, he will not say it anyway. He will call it fridge. Technically, it has become part of our language. Airplane originally wasn't part of our airplane, our language, L1. But now some will say some will say whatever. We have added it. So culture is cumulative. We add on. Culture is dynamic. I just mentioned the Osu one. Dynamic means that it changes. Culture is not static per se. Culture is dynamic. Culture is dynamic. So dynamic means that it changes. Culture changes. Yes, marriage ceremonies are going on. But what goes into marriage is changing. And it has changed. It tells you how dynamic culture is. In some cases, it was men who were proposing to women. Now, women also propose to men, like Alligator is doing to me this afternoon. So culture is dynamic. Again, culture is integrative. By this, it means it brings people together. Culture is integrative. That is why when you go to a community or you travel, I am a Ghanaian, I'm not Nigerian. But when I travel to the States and I see any black person and they realize I'm from Africa, whether they are from Togo or they are from Nigeria or they are from Benin or they are from Burkina, they come closer to us. Culture is integrative. And it is even more beautiful when you go and meet a Ghanaian. The Ghanaian, I am an Equipim, the Ghanaian might be fancy, might be a Dagari, might be a Ga. But once the person knows that I am Ghanaian, it brings us together. That shows you the integrative aspect of culture. Again, culture is based on symbols. And one of the best symbols that we always talk about when we talk about culture is language. The language we speak is also a symbol. Symbol is not just the arts. No, it is the language is part of symbols. Culture is based on symbols. So we are able to deduce other people's culture based on the symbols that they present or have. Finally, we say culture is stable. Culture is stable. When we say culture is stable, what exactly do we mean? Yes, much as we say culture is static, it doesn't mean, much as we say culture is dynamic, it doesn't mean that culture culture changes always. It is stable, it is dynamic, but the change is slow, so sometimes you do not see it. For that reason, we say it is stable. Culture changes, but the change is so slow that sometimes it is difficult to even see it. That is how stable culture is. So slowly, a lot of things are changing in our culture, in our everyday life. Slowly, we are unable to see it. It is not static, it changes. And because it is slow, we say it is stable. So these are the characteristics of culture. But let's look at the components of culture, or elements of culture. Let's go back to GSS and SHS. We did mathematics, right? And one of the topics in mathematics is sets. So the set A is made up of all counting numbers greater than 1 and less or equal to 5. Can somebody mention the elements for me? The set of A is made up of counting numbers greater than 1, but less or equal to 5. Who will help me?
Sir, you said?
I want. That was 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Thank you. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So those will be the members of that particular set A. So 2, 3, 4, and 5 will be the members of the set A. Those members of the set A are also elements. So when we say elements of culture, we are talking of those things, aspects, elements of culture, components of culture, those things that make up culture. The first one that we can talk about is norms. Norms. What are norms? What are norms? Norms are established standards of behavior maintained by a society. Every society has its own established standard of behavior, and those are part of their norms. So norms ultimately will tell you what are appropriate and inappropriate. So in definition, sometimes we say they are the appropriate or inappropriate standards of behavior. Our norms will tell you this is how you do it. We don't do it this way. This is how we go about it. We don't go about it this way. Those are norms. Specifically, they are the do's and don'ts of a society. So every society has norms. Every society has norms, and the norms are the do's and don'ts of societies. Right. Now, as you can see in the slide or on the slide, they are the blueprints for behavior. Right. They tell us what to do and what not to do. So those are the norms. They tell us what ought to do and what you must do and what you must not do. They tell us what we should do. Those are the prescriptions. And they tell us what we should not do, and those are the pro. So the pre are what you should, and the pro are what you should not. So prescription and prescription, right? So those are norms. One good thing about norms is that they serve as social control mechanisms because they control the behavior of people. So norms serve as social control mechanisms in every society. Now, the do's and don'ts of society can be found in three different ways. So norms, there are three types of norms. So already we have norms, but there are three types of norms. In norms, we have what we call real norms. Okay, let me say that quickly. We have a discrepancy between real and ideal culture. Right. So culture, we have the ideal one and we have real culture. What are real cultures and what are ideal cultures? Hello. Sorry, I there was a call I had to pick. That was why there was a little break. Sorry about that. Okay, so in culture, we have what we call real culture and ideal culture. What are real culture? Real culture and ideal culture. Real culture are the actual conducts that are exhibited in a society, and the ideal ones are the expected conduct of a society. So when we say ideal culture, those are the expected ones. We expect that people should do this, but the real culture is what people are actually engaging. For instance, in our homes, in churches, in our mosques, they talk about ideal culture. The ideal culture is that when you are dating someone, don't have sex with a person, and never have sex. As much as possible, try to marry a virgin, both male and female. That is a my church people are calling me like that because I'm not in Cape Coast. They are just. I've told them I'm not around. I'm in Sunyani, yet they are worrying me. This one's a worry. Okay, please, no, this one, it wasn't network. It was because I am using the, I have hotspotted it on my phone. So when the call comes in, it cuts. Sorry about that. I am not in the office. I'm not in Cape. Currently, I'm in Sunyani, so I have just hotspotted it. Forgive me. It is not the network. This one was in the network. Okay, so move. So I was talking about real culture and ideal culture. The ideal one is what the expected behavior that society expects people to present. And then the real one are what people actually do. And I was using premarital sex as an example. Society expects that, oh, all male, both male and female, must be virgins before they marry. Traditionally, what's the name? Religiously, they all believe same. But the real thing is that most of us, we miss that angle before we finally get into marriage. So that is that. Now, the reason why there is always a discrepancy between the real and then the ideal culture is because human as we are frail. And so sometimes we are unable to exhibit the ideal culture and other things come. So the reason between the discrepancy is because humans are frail. It is because of our frailty. That's why that happens. I said we have three types of more. Sorry. Yes. Sorry. Here. Oral. Oh. So,
No, sir, we can't hear anything. It's breaking.
hello. Can somebody hear me, please?
Sir, we weren't hearing.
Somebody type that you can't hear me. Okay.
Then I can hear you.
Yo, thank you. Hey, what is going on the platform? And people are saying with their siblings before they get them. We are doing sociology, so you guys should take it easy. Sociology, we see a lot of things, but they are for the lecture. So take it easy, so that you don't fight. Remember, today we've done what's the name? Perspectives. So understand. Hello, my people. Okay, Charles.
Okay, sir.
Yes. All right. Thank you all. Thank you all. Now let's move on. So we are looking at norms as an element of culture. And we are saying that norms are the do's and don'ts of a society. But we have three types of norms. The first one we call mores. Mores are strongly held. It's important, take note of that. They are the strongly held norms that usually have a moral connotation and are based on the central values of a society. Every society has its own values. Mores are woven around the main values of a society. Every society wants more people. And so, if you are a murderer, if you commit murder, you are severely dealt with. Why? Because murder is a more. Do not commit murder is a more. It is a norm, but it is a strongly held norm by the society. And so that becomes a more. Incest, having sex with your parents, having sex with your siblings, is also frowned upon in most societies. So that becomes a more. It touches the very fiber of society, so it is a more, right? It is all. Remember, they are norms. Mores are norms. Why? Because they are do's and don'ts of society. So do not have sex with your father. Do not have sex with your mother. Do not have sex with your brother. Do not have sex with your sister. They are more. When you are seen doing that, you are severely dealt with. So this tells you that for mores, violators are severely dealt with when they go against that particular norm. Sometimes it is punishment or whatever, but the most important thing is that punishment for violators is severe for mores. Then we have other do's and don'ts. Now we refer to them as folkways. They are also norms, folkways. Now, folkways basically are less important to people. They do not touch the fiber of society, but of course, they are also do's and don'ts of society. For instance, it is 3 o'clock now. 3 o'clock now. Mohammed, you are being told to mute your video. I beg you. I don't know what you are doing, but mute your video. Somebody just drew our attention. Mohammed.
Please, I've done it.
I hope you are not shirtless. Mo. Mohammed, were you shirtless? Muhammad Ali. You don't.
Hello.
Were you shirtless?
Somehow.
Aye, Mohammed. Yo. Portia is laughing. Portia wanted to see everything. Don't mind Portia. Let's go on.
Oh, just lying in the chair watching.
And you are lying down too. Ayo, you continue. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, Portia. Mohammed wanted to do as free show. Okay, so you see, let us be honest with ourselves. I want you to be truthful to me. Truthful. Oh. Will you tell me the truth? I want somebody to tell me. Will you all tell me the truth? Please, I want you to be truthful. Okay, who has not bathed this morning? Since morning, who has not bathed? Just give me a. Oh, Jemima, you have not bathed there. Your hand was up. Oh. Who else? Apart from Jemima, Mohammed, you have not bathed. Nathaniel, who else? Oh, Gara, Dina, you've not
Osman.
bath. Osman, you've not bath. Who else?
Osman.
Portia.
You've not bath.
Joanna. Hey, I love you people.
Sir, Florence too didn't bath.
How do you know? Eh? How do you know? Salah? Hey, ayo. You people have done well. Me too, have not taken my bath yet because I'm indoors throughout. I only step out in the evening. So, you see, most of us we've not taken our bath because we are indoors. But society expects us. Naomi is telling us she has not bathed though. Naomi, you are not laughing at me. You are saying you have not bathed as well. Anyway, you see, society expects us to bath when we wake up in the morning. It is now 3:30. I haven't taken my bath, but I have eaten. I went out in the morning to buy what's the name? Wache. So I've eaten. And after I'm done with you, I'll take my bath. Around 5:30, I'll step out. I'll go and eat. Go and sit by the roadside, watch people moving up and down. When I'm tired, then I'll come back to my room and sleep. Now, but society expects us to bath. Some of us don't even brush our teeth and we eat. Society expects us to brush our teeth before we eat because they are the do's and don'ts of society, right? So it is also a norm, but this type of norm is of less importance to society. They are just part of those normal habitual way of doing things. And so when you violate them, nobody says anything to you. Maybe the punishment for violators will just be laughing, making fun of you, etc. Those types of norms are referred to as folkways. So you see, folkways are also do's and don'ts of society, but they are less stringent because they are the normal habitual ways of doing things. For instance, society expects that when a small boy sees an elderly carrying things, he or she must help the person. But if he or she doesn't help the person, do societies banish the boy? No. All that people say that, hey, this boy there, he's a bad boy, that's all. Nobody will send the boy to prison. Why? Because it is a folk way. Yes, they expect you to do it, but if you violate it, you will not be dealt with harshly. All that people say, I would ask for this boy, he doesn't respect, that's all. But for mores, they take the very fiber of society. So if you violate, society deals with you ruthlessly. Like killing someone. Ruthlessly, society will deal with you. You go to jail. And you might even be sentenced to death. Right? So those are the two. The third type of norm is what we call laws. Laws. Now, laws are just documented, and that is the important thing. Laws are documented. They are laws that are codified, written down with enforced rules, then they become laws. So a law can be a mores. Mores can be laws, right? But when the mores are not documented, they are not laws. When mores are not documented, they are not laws. For instance, having sex with your sister or your brother. Traditionally, it is a more because they say you are destroying society. You are destroying the family. So traditionally, they will deal with you. But I don't know if it is in our laws that if you have sex with your brother or your sister, you go to jail. I don't know. Do we have that in our laws? The laws of Ghana, do we have it in it?
No, sir, unless you rape the person.
Unless you rape. But if you have sex with your brother or your sister, you don't go to jail. Right? But traditionally, so you see, it is not all mores that are laws. It is not all mores that are, and it's not all laws that are mores. So that is just to let you understand that. Anyway. So we have different types of norms. We have informal norms and we have formal norms. The informal ones are generally understood, but they are not recorded. They are not recorded. They are not written down. And then the formal ones are the laws. They are those that are written down, that are documented with specific punishment for violators. One thing about mores is that one thing about laws is that they can change more readily than both mores and folkways. Laws can change depending on who is there. The law can change, but mores will forever be there. They hardly change because the traditional society mores touch the very fiber of the society. Now, so talking about laws, how do two of the theories or perspective we looked at see laws? The functionalists see law as serving the interests of all members of society. The laws are there to serve the interests of society, to make sure that there will be order and stability in society. But the conflict theory always see laws as a tool of the powerful in society to exploit the powerless. In other words, they use laws to legitimize exploitation. So there are laws in the country. According to the conflict theories, the laws are there to protect the powerful and the rich, and not the poor. That is why somebody can steal billions of cedis, and then the law will tell him or her that, okay, you refund the money and then feel free, go home. Because the person is powerful. Another person will go and steal another person's cassava just to feed the family for a day. When he is caught, he is jailed. So the conflict theory see laws as a tool of the powerful to control and exploit the powerless. But the conflict, the functionalists, as we learned earlier on, they see it to be helpful, that it helps to preserve law, and then it serves the interests of all people. In other words, it brings sanity and order into society. That is the first. So norms are the first elements of society, culture. The second one is language. Language is the other element of society, of culture. We say language is the foundation of every culture because every culture we communicate through the languages we speak. Languages is not only the ones that we say, but they include the written, unwritten, numerals, gestures, symbols. They are all part of language. So gestures are part of language. It's not only the verbal one that we do. And of course, we also have symbols as well as language. The important thing about language is that it is an abstract system of word meaning. Why do we say that it is abstract? Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to me carefully and tell me what I said. Class, what did I say? Hello?
Sir?
What did I
You are
say?
speaking a different language.
So please, we don't understand.
Who understood what I said?
I think we were talking about kinky or something.
Yeah, kinky. I will know it's kinky. I will know the man it's kinky. Hello? Who heard what I said? Who understood what I said? None of you did. I was speaking my L1, the Okre language. So we say language is always an abstract system of words. It is abstract. You only understand it when you understand. Else when you are speaking it, it is abstract. It doesn't make any meaning to people. So we define language as an abstract system of word meanings and symbols. That is how we define language. All I said was that when I end with you, I'll just go to town, get something to eat, sit somewhere, I'll take a little drink, and then come back to my room and sleep. That was what I said. But you did not understand it. So it was like I was speaking Greek. It made no meaning to you. So in defining language, you say, as if I was chanting. See, Babs was saying as if I was chanting. Because it was meaningless. You did not understand. But somebody who understood what I said will really appreciate it. That's why we say language is an abstract system of word meaning. Okay. So that is language. Another element of culture is values. Values are broad ideas. So values are ideas. Values are ideas. So take note of that. So values are broad ideas regarding what is desirable or undesirable, what is good or not good. That members of a society share. So values are just ideas. So some of the values, can you give me a value? Some of the values that we share as a society. Can you mention one? Honesty. It is a value that we share, that most members of society share.
Respect.
Hard work. It's a value that we share.
Respect.
Hello? Yes. What? Barbara, I'm listening.
Respect.
Hello, Bob. Respect. Respect. Thank you. So these are all values that we cherish, right? So they are ideas, but so members of society feel that those things are good, those things are desirable, and so members must acquire it. They are values, and it is also an element of culture, right? Yeah. One thing about values is that they differ from society to society. That is one thing about values. So when I say people cherish hard work, in some societies, they don't cherish hard work. They just cherish, make sure you get money. That's all. It doesn't matter what you do. Right? So it differs from society to society. So can we look at some of the importance of values? Yes, we can. Let's share some of the importance of values. Values are very vital for the survival of any society. Values are very important for the survival of all societies, because they are shared ideas of what society feels are desirable. So they are good for the survival of society. 2, the dominant values of a culture, right, unifies and directs individual experiences. The dominant values directs our experiences. It unifies our experiences. So if the value is that we cherish children, then people, once upon a time I was teaching in a village, and in that village, when you finish GSS, you have to give birth. You have to give, so all the children after GSS, they will give birth. If you finish GSS and you don't get pregnant or give birth, and you decide to go to SHS, they see you to be stupid, and they'll be laughing at you. Because in that society, when the children get pregnant and they give birth, the whole community will hail the girl. There's a grand ceremony for the girl. Now, so they valued children, even if you are a child, they still value that you, because somebody will be 15 or 16 and then the person is already a mother. So they cherish that, they value that. So one importance of value is that it unifies and directs individual experiences. So they'll finish in GSS 3, they just want to get pregnant so that they can give birth when they finish school. Okay. So those are it. Now, in talking about values, we can always make references to the fact that it serves as the heartbeat of a society, because they are cherished by members of society. It actually takes members of a society on. Actually, that becomes the lifeblood of a given society. So we say values are the heartbeat of a society. In talking about values, we can talk about taboos. Taboos. What are taboos? Taboos are basically sacred prohibitions. things that you should not do, but they carry a religious, they have a religious implication, so they are sacred. Can you give name in your society, in your culture? What are some of the taboos? What are some of the taboos? Let me start with Barbara. Barbara, what are some of the? Give me a taboo in your society.
So in my society or my culture, a married woman is not supposed to sleep with another man. When that happens,
that is a taboo.
Some rites has to be performed.
Good. So it is that's why rites ought to be performed, because it is seen as a taboo. All right. Mohammed, Ali, what are some of the taboos in your culture? Mohammed.
Yes, my area is a taboo to have an affair with a sibling.
Mohammed, I can hardly hear what you are saying, you know.
I said it's a taboo to have sex with a sibling.
Okay, it's a taboo to have sex with your sibling. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Any other? Jemima, tell me yours.
In my area, it's a taboo for a woman, like a married woman, to have an affair with another man without consent.
And that one, Barbara said it. So give me another.
Okay, then.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Naomi.
In my area, it's a taboo to go to the farm on Tuesdays.
It's a taboo to go to the farm on Tuesdays. Thank you. Yes, any other?
In my area, it's a taboo to be in the bathroom while whistling.
It's a taboo to do what?
Like to be in the bathroom while whistling.
Be a bad sibling.
No, whistling. When you are in the bathroom.
Okay, you bath and you whistle at the same time. It's a taboo. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jemima.
Taboo.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
In my society, it is a taboo to have sex in the bush or on the farm. Now, you see, all these things are taboos, and they are so we say they are sacred prohibitions. You should not do them, right? You should not do them, because that is it. Those who violate such taboos are severely dealt with, because it is deemed that when you do that, you bring calamity to the whole community. That's why they are seriously dealt with. So, yes, having intercourse in the bush, you defile the land, and so the land will become infertile. So they will deal with you. You want the whole community to go hungry, they will deal with you. All right. So these are the elements, the characteristics or aspects of culture. Now let's look at some concepts, cultural concepts. So in talking about culture, there are a lot of concepts that we need to know. So the first one is what we call a cultural lag. A cultural lag. A cultural lag. A cultural lag. What is a cultural lag? Please, what is the meaning of lag? Can somebody help me? Lag. Alligator. What is lag? L-A-G. Alligator. Yes, talk to me. What is lag? L-A-G. What does it mean?
So I just looked into it, and it's saying that lag means a delay or time gap between an action and its effect.
Thank you. So lag means a delay or a time lag between actions or something of that sort. Thank you, Alligator. So if something falls behind or something lags, so if you are walking, you are going to the farm, and then there's a little boy following you. The elders can walk hurriedly, and then the little boy will be lagging behind. It means that the person has fallen behind. So anything that falls behind is a lag. Now, we also have something in culture, we have something we call cultural lag. What is cultural lag? Cultural lag happens when there is a lot of maladjustment and inconsistencies in cultural patterns. When there is a lot of maladjustments and inconsistencies in cultural patterns as a result of technological innovation. As a result of technological innovation. So sometimes technology moves faster than culture. And so culture lags behind. Culture falls behind. And culture is unable to catch up. When that happens, we call it a cultural lag. For instance, if you were to get an air fryer, I always use that as an example because the first time I got some, it was my little girl who taught me how to use it. I couldn't. An air fryer. If you were to get one as your Christmas present or end of year present, will you be able to use it? You'll be using the oven and other things for a long time, but the fryer, you haven't. And so you find it difficult working on it or using it. You have lagged behind. Because of advancement in technology, culture has not been able to meet that pace. And so culture falls behind. We call that one cultural lag. Then we have cultural shock. Cultural shock occurs when there is a strong feeling of disorientation as a result of a radical cultural change. People experience cultural shock when what they know as the norm, as the way of life, differs from what they are seeing now. Then they go into what we call a cultural shock. For instance, entering a pool in the evening and see people having sex in the water. I'll go through a cultural shock, and I always do that. That's why I don't like entering pools, especially when there are more than 5 people in it. I will never enter it. I'll go into a cultural shock. Why must you be having sex in the water? And it is not your bath water in your house. Whatever people are carrying, you don't know, and you are happy. And then this water and everything is entering you. I'll go into a cultural shock. That's a strong disorientation. From my background, that is not how it is. And so I'll go into a cultural shock. Initially, we use kissing as an example, that when people from Africa go to Europe and they see Europeans kissing openly outside, smooching each other and then doing whatever, we go through a cultural shock. That is a feeling of strong disorientation because of a radical cultural change. That's cultural. Then we can talk about ethnocentrism, cultural ethnocentrism. Ethno means ethnic, and centrism means self. Sometimes we assume that our culture is the way of life. It is the best way of life. We assume that our culture is the best. We assume that our culture is superior to others. When that happens, we are exhibiting traits of ethnocentrism, cultural ethnocentrism. So you see somebody saying that, oh, when I went out today, I saw snails and I ate the snails. I was like, snails too, are they snails meat? Snails, do you eat meat? You are being ethnocentric because you do not eat it. You think that that should be the norm. You are judging somebody based on your culture. You are being ethnocentric. So someone will say, oh, I ate hey, snake. Do you also eat snakes? You are judging the person based on your own culture. And so you are being ethnocentric. Okay, you don't want to read. So. Please mute yourself.
Yes, I mean. Yes, I mean.
Mute yourself. Say. So when your man, mute yourself. Say,
Huh?
say, mute yourself.
Ah. You want to suffer.
Emo, say, mute yourself. How can I take this gentleman off? Thank you. So you are being ethnocentric in that regard, right? And what are some of the effects of being ethnocentric? Normally, it brings about disagreement because you see your culture to be superior to others. It normally brings about what's the name? Conflict or disagreement. Technically, if you are ethnocentric, you are looking down on other people's culture, and that always brings about conflict. Right? But the importance of being ethnocentric is that it promotes solidarity among a group or between members of a group. Because all of us see ourselves as one, it promotes solidarity. We do things together. That is the good side of being ethnocentric. That is the good side of being ethnocentric. Apart from the second one is that it also reinforces patriotism and pride. We all see ourselves as one, so it reinforces the patriotism and pride that, oh yes, this is where I come from, this is who I am. We can also talk about cultural relativism. Cultural relativism. Cultural relativism. Now, with cultural relativism, you are viewing the behavior of a person from the perspective of that person's own culture. That is cultural relativism. So cultural relativism is the opposite of cultural ethnocentrism. For cultural ethnocentrism, you are viewing or looking at the person's behavior based on you, your culture. But with relativism, you are looking at the behavior based on the person's own culture. That is cultural relativism, right? One good thing about cultural relativism is that it reduces ethnocentrism, because now you look at it from the person's own culture or background, which is good. Then we can talk about another concept that we call cultural universal. Cultural universals are common denominators. They are elements of culture or aspects of culture that can be found in all societies or all known societies. Then it is a universal. So one cultural universal, for instance, is marriage. In all societies, people marry. So it is a cultural universal. So that is that. Then we can talk about subculture. In all societies, we have subgroups. In all societies, we have subgroups. If the subgroup adopts its own, they have their own norms, and yet adopts the norms of the dominant group, then that group is said to be a subculture. Let me try and say it again, this time differently. A subculture occurs when a group within a society adopts their own norms and yet operate within the norms of the larger society. Then it is a subgroup. For instance, Aligatu.
Sir.
You're a Muslim, right?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Do you have associations in the mosques for ladies?
So, not necessarily, but we have a Muslim women group that we go there to learn.
Ladies, Muslim ladies, what club?
Yes, no, it's something like that. So we have elders, like people who have learned so much about the religion, and that they will be teaching us certain things and even all aspects of life.
Thank you. Thank you. That's great. So within the mosque, a particular mosque, there are members, a group of ladies who belong to the ladies club, and that is wonderful. The ladies club have their own rules and regulations. That when you are coming, this is what we do. When you have a partner, you do this. When you get married, this is how you have to do. This is how you have to dress. They say that, but their rules are within the general rule of Islam.
Yes.
And so they become a subgroup. Such a subgroup normally becomes the subculture. So any subgroup may have in a society may have their own subculture. But the subculture is that that group has its own rules, but the rules are still within the greater rules of the society. Then they have their own subculture. Now, most often, subcultures develop an argot. Argots are just specialized language that distinguishes it from the wider one. I told you that I went to, yes, it was in the Brahafu region there when I was a little boy. And then those boys were speaking in reverse language. God obey, God obey. They were saying that you will not understand anything. It's an argot. They have a specialized language that they themselves understand. Right, it's an argot. So most often subgroups or subcultures develop an argot. Then we have another concept we call counterculture. Counterculture. Counterculture is the same as contra, but counterculture. This is also a subgroup within a society that has its own norms. However, their norms are totally different from the norms of the larger society. And in some societies, they even try to impose their norms on the larger society. That is what we refer to as counterculture. So an example of the counterculture was the LGBTQI people, right? They have a different rule. But instead of operating within the larger society, they reject the societal norms and try to impose their views or norms or values on the larger society. Such a group is referred to as, or such a culture is referred to as counterculture. Then we can talk about cultural innovation. When you are innovating, you are adding on knowledge, right? You are adding on. So you introduce new ideas or objects to a culture through knowledge. So that becomes cultural innovation. And you add on through two main processes, discovery and inventions. So when you discover something and you add it to your culture, it is cultural innovation. When you also discover something and you add it as part of your culture, it is also cultural innovation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on this note, we end this exercise on culture. As I promised you, please, I'll give you the slides. Now we have 4 slides now. I'll give you all the slides. But all group, I don't want individual members to chat me. The group leaders chat me, say hi, and then you tell me your center. I'll send you the slides right away. Thank you. Have a wonderful Christmas. Take good care of yourself. And please stay safe. Right. Alikatu is telling me she will stay safe. All right. Bye-bye. So please, I'm waiting. Tell me hi on WhatsApp and then